We are in the first stage of the construction of the vertical wall, vertical garden, and first part it's to place on the wood structure this polypropylene this polypropylene layers. The polypropylene layer helps to avoid the water to be in contact with the facade, so we will keep the moisture away. My name is Juanma. I work for Projar, and we are installing this innovation in vertical walls in Green Academy, Denmark. Yes. We encounter a challenge in the installation of this zinc wall, and it's because the metal structure that we usually use back in our country is going to be replaced by a wood frame. So we found out that it is better to place a horizontal sort of a beam that actually allow us to attach all the layers together and to avoid to be fluffy. Um, and then the next step after the polypropylene layer is to place this geotextile, which will help first to distribute the water as much as we can through the whole system, and also to retain an extra amount of water. So we are in the last part of the structure part of the vertical garden, which is the installation of this volumetric mesh called Trinter. It is a mesh made by polyethylene and polypropylene, and it has some waves which it will help to hold all the substrate that we will spray later on. It is the most important part of the system, and we like to use two meshes to give an extra around 5 to 6 centimeters substrate. Right now, what we have done is just anchor it temporarily with some staples, and later on we will anchor it properly with a screw, so it will hold all nicely together to the wall. At the moment, we are in the last part of the process, and we placed already all the meshes and secure them, anchor it to the wood structure with these metal plates and screws. Yes. It's important that the whole system gets as attached as possible, so to avoid any gap between the layers and to boost the water distribution. After that, we we have installed already all the drip lines, two drip lines on top, and the third drip line around 50 centimeters away. It's quite important to notice that the the first drip line it's in between the geotextile and the first volumetric mesh, just to make sure that the water goes straight to the geotextile. It's important for the drip line to be very well attached to the last layer of the volumetric mesh. That's the reason why we put every around 30 centimeters these stripes. If, for example, in this case, if we don't have this one placed here, these two drippers will be very fluffy and will not water the substrate as well as it will do. At the moment, my colleague is making all the connections for all the filters and valves and yeah, all the irrigation connections, and everything will be ready to water both walls. The sun wall and the wall under the shade. That's the reason why we'll have two different bulbs for two different sectors. Go. So the last part of the installation is actually to do the spray projection of the substrate. So we are doing a little bit of slightly change of the composition and the dosage to adapt to the local products in here in Denmark. So we are a little bit innovating and using different products. So the base of the substrate will be this product, which is kind of 50% cocoa peat. Also has some peat and some fiber, wood fiber. That would be the main part of the substrate. On top of that, we want to add some mineral part, which is clay base, at a special ratio, and also as a mineral part of the substrate.
Yeah.
We will use a local product. It's called Lica, and it's an expanded clay, which is quite porous, and it helps to retain the moisture and give some structure to the mix. And then we will also add some slow release fertilizer. And for the activation of the fauna in the soil, in the mixture, we will add also some mycorrhizas with a little bit of NPK. And to help the whole mixture to stick together, we are using some stabilizer, which it makes what we call also glue. It makes everything to bind together. And the most important thing, of course, the seeds. The seeds is approximately ratio of 6 to 7 grams per square meter. The final result is this mixture, which is quite sticky, and hopefully it will stay in the volumetric mesh, and it will provide a good media for the seeds to thrive. So we've done the first pass, and we are quite happy about the mix we achieved. As you can see here in the net, the substrate is already inside, so that means that we are reaching a good texture and a good density. So what we need to do now is to let it rest, to let all the water drain, as you can see on the bottoms, and once it's a little bit drier, we will do the last pass, and then everything will be completed, and we hardly be able to see the mesh in the surface. So now we are connecting the irrigation system, and my colleague is connecting the first timer to the valve that will control the sun area. And then there is another timer for another valve for the shady area. These devices here will be the one that will actually get the information from the moisture sensor as well as the temperature sensor, and it will send the data to a base that will connect the application. So the workers will be able to monitor and to control the irrigation system from remote controls. So now my colleague is making the last pass, and actually the last pass we include the seeds. So more or less when it's about 80% of the volumetric mesh filled up with the substrate, then you need to make sure that everything is kind of dry, and do the last part with the seeds.
Det er samme setup her, hvor vi har fugtighedssensorer placeret her og en temperatur i midten.
So we are done with the green facade, with the Dutch Rock urban system. We did the last pass with the seeds. All the mesh, as you can see, is very full of substrate. So we also can see the little seeds attached to the wall. So now we need to wait for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, to start to see the vegetation popping up. Now we need to really pay attention on the irrigation system. The seeds cannot be lacking of water. So ideally, we want to provide a lot of times a day, a lot of irrigation a day, probably 9 to 10 times, and for a short period of time, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, depends on the weather conditions. So we need to make sure that the distribution of the water is as uniform as possible, and then provide the moisture, enough moisture for the seeds to thrive.